first, or do I read the copy first, or like where do you go? And it's like you try to be patient with him, but you can see it's a losing proposition, and it's like, you're not going to believe this, but Jim Shooter was just fired. It's like, it's like there was no one to share all these, like, shop talk or even the medium. In fact, it got back to me. A gal I was dating at the time, her friend told me, it's like, yeah, Holly's very upset with you. She says you keep talking about Steve Ditko. Who is Steve Ditko? So when I met Jackie.
Yeah, he met somebody who had a 5-page Steve Ditko original story in her portfolio.
So it was like, I don't want to say epiphany, but it was just like, oh my God, here you are. So
is the question who is Steve Ditko a sign that the relationship's in trouble?
Pretty much. No. It's just that I had a studio. I had several studios in Manhattan too at the time, and it was just that was my world, and it was hard to share with someone who didn't understand or appreciate or even like comics. And just very quickly, I think the worst part for me is when I'm like totally frustrated, and Jackie has to hear the frustration. Like when Steve Ditko doesn't respond to my letters. No, I'm kidding.
Are you sure the relationship isn't with Steve Ditko?
Oh, how dare you?
That's not really, I'm not sure how to answer this question. It's kind of doing the job that I do, creating comics. It's been so much a part of who I am and how I define myself. I didn't really expect that I was going to find somebody that, I've kind of grown up at comic book conventions, and I've met everybody, I've become friends with everybody. I never said, gee, I think I should try and date someone who likes or is interested in comics. It's like didn't do that on purpose. And when I met Brian, like you said, he didn't know who I was, but also I didn't, I think I remember when I asked, when I was, really felt for him, and I asked him, what is it that you do? And this was, and then we were at that bar, because we still meet up with other people, and he walked me across the street to the comic book store, and he pointed at something that he'd done graphics on, and I was like, you're in comics? Oh wow, I thought I had finally met somebody that I finally knew a person that wasn't in comics at all, and like, oh well, I was, fairly head over heels at that point. What he did wouldn't have mattered, what he did at all. Well, no, it's just that, it's like I kind of hadn't thought of it, because the way I was talking with him and relating with him and communicating with him was really important and felt
And it was a
perfect.
free zone.
Well, no, it just felt really perfect. We weren't really talking about what we did or anything. It was just kind of, and then finally I was like, hey, I don't know what he does or anything, It's like, so, but I think what's good about it is, and he understands the ups and downs of creating something, and when I have a problem, I don't have to really explain too much of what's going on. He also can help me overcome obstacles that I have, and I can't think of the worst part. There's nothing I can really think of.
Brian already said.
But
what I said, it's true. The best part is being in the comic industry. The worst part is being in the comic industry. Sometimes we're talking about something, and then just, a lot of times we're complaining about something. That's not good. We're complaining about you people.
Okay, they'll get their turn in a minute. So start taking questions.
Okay, just the other day. Yes, how did you know? Of course. Just the other day, I was making snide remarks about the fact that Steve has 5 Eisners, and I said, yeah, he bites them and then he puts them in a drawer with the other Eisners, and this was a reference, you see. Now nobody else, you guys don't even know. No, yeah, but Steve knows. That's why we're together. Steve knows it's a reference to Mad Comic Super Duper Man, where junior assistant copy boy Clark Bent, and by the way, that's another term Steve and I use as junior assistant copy boy, because we know, he gives Lois Payne another pearl necklace.
Gives her a pearl necklace that he saved up for months on his meager salary.
Yes, he says, please, and she takes it and she bites it to make sure it's real and throws it in a drawer that is full of pearl necklaces. And he understands when I say that he bites his Eisners and puts them in a drawer, because we both know Super Duper Man. Or later, when he shows her that he's really Super Duper Man, and he says, what a burner are you, ha, Lois, ha, Payne. And she says, who cares, you're still a creep. See, Steve, get out of here, you're still a creep. See, we know this. Who else knows this? And this is the good part,
And met Steve Ditko.
That's right.
They trump me.
But it really comes down to Kurtzman, because Kurtzman wrote all these brilliant things in Mad. Or when I say dig, he knows this is the mole from another Kurtzman Mad comic. Will Elder drew it, of course, yes. And Woody, Wally Wood, as we both know, drew Super Duper Man. So, who else would know these things? You guys didn't even know it. You see? So,
Actually,
No,
So
I
that's-
have a feeling they all do.
I know
Shannon
I don't
wrote-
have it memorized like that.
we could recite it.
But I have my own things memorized.
There. But then again, you see, the bad part is that he has 5 Eisners, and I don't have any.
So bite him, throw him in the drawer.
I'll get one, you'll see. And I told him that. I said, I use one lousy Eisner,
Oh, do I have to say something? That's pretty much it. I mean, it's very, it's, as they were saying, it's handy to have someone that you don't have to explain this stuff to. It's really, doing comic books for a living is a pretty peculiar occupation. It's not all that common. So again, the good part is it's comics, and the bad part is it's comics. And there's a lot of complaining about people we have to deal with on a professional level, and so on and so forth. But, that's it.
I think one of the best parts is I can legitimately and honestly say that I slept with my publisher to get my job. All the inside stuff, Richard, I would have to say that Richard and I are almost more movie geeks than comic geeks. And we speak in this kind of code to each other because everything we do reminds us of a scene from a movie. So sometimes, I'll do something or mess up something, and he will cite an incident in a movie that reminds him of that. And I think these are the moments we actually treasure the most is just these little inside jokes that nobody else knows or gets, it seems to be a common thread through the whole group that you have a feeling, of course, as Steve just said, when you're in the business, you have sort of a feeling of being a part, especially in Poughkeepsie, New York. San Francisco, you do have access to tremendous creativity. It is an art-oriented town, and you can meet a lot of people. In Poughkeepsie, it's pretty much squirrels and raccoons, at least where we live. And Vassars too.
And those are the freelancers.
Those are the freelancers. So you have to drive